you do something in this film that I try to do with my interviews, which is to have an organic dialogue.
Yeah.
And you find these ways to create truth through all these different age groups, people coming from different walks of life. So I gotta know, what are you plugging into to create that authenticity?
It usually starts with like writing really extensive bios for every character. Like before I even start writing dialogue, like I really try and figure out who these characters are and give them a background. And most of that stuff never really, makes it to the script.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I know these characters before I even start writing.
Yeah.
And that makes just, writing dialogue a lot more organic for me.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of set boundaries a little bit, and so like you're like, I know this character, I know their world, I know like what they would say and what they wouldn't say.
Right.
So it just kind of fast tracks that. Does that sort of?
Yeah. Well, I guess speaking of fast tracking it, like there are lines or maybe small character actions that really just right away, like, oh, that's the character.
Mm-hmm.
Such as Jim Cummins' character pushing the ashtray away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, does that mean that he just doesn't want to, is he trying to push temptation out of his life?
Yeah.
Or is it more like that I got a suit on, I got a certain way I carry myself. So there's just like moments like that, or like Charlie saying over and out at a certain point, and just like...
I just try and pay off as much as I can.
Yeah.
So it's like I knew when, after, the thing, I'll just say that.
Right. That's fine.
So like, I knew he was going to pick up Travis's lighter and cigarettes and smoke when he gets out before we start that winter. So I wanted to pay that off. It's like, he's trying to stop. He's trying to better his life. But this thing comes in and completely derails it,
Yeah.
Even like smoking is just part of it, Obviously, he makes a lot of really poor decisions, but like that's the start of it. We see him push the ashtray away. He actually has a token on his keychain that's like, I think it was like 2 years sober or whatever, and then he gets out and smokes.
Yeah.
Because who the wouldn't after that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you also edited this too, do you know how to write and direct for the edit? Is that like clearly thought out, or is it more? Okay.
Clearly, like my DP and I, we prep like extensively. Like we shot list, we use shot designer for everything. We photo board. We will actually shoot sequences, like the Brewer Evanson sequence. Like we shot that. Like I shot that in my living room like 10 times. Like making sure. So there's really nothing that was left on the cutting room floor. Like we shot only what we needed. When I knew we were committing to a oneer, we weren't like, there was no cushion there. Like we didn't get coverage. So for me, it was, this sounds lame, but it was like cutting it was a lot like paint by numbers. Like it was like I didn't have any other options because we shot toward the edit. I mean, with that said, there's still ways to like finesse things and like grab if I love this performance, but whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of just prep, man, meticulously prepping, and it was great because like you should, and also even prepping with the actors. Like I would jump on one-on-one Zooms with every actor, and like we'd go through the script, and anything that felt contrived or like not within their character, I'd rewrite it on the spot. So there was never a moment where it was like, where do we put the camera? Or there was never a moment where it was like, I don't think I would say this. Like we had a really tight schedule, so we had to be so prepared. Like we had to fly through our day, and if anything, like if there's a moment where it's like, I don't know, I think I'd be sitting over here, and it like screwed up the blocking. Like luckily that never happened because we were able to prep so much. Like every morning we would just look at our overhead that we did in shot designer and walk through the blocking, and everyone was like, sometimes you'll have talent come in and be like, nah, I don't think I'd walk that way, but it was like, I think they clearly saw how much work went into it, and they were like, okay, we don't want to do this. Like, you know what I mean? We'll stick to the plan, because anything that derailed that would just throw the whole thing off.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same thing for like because speaking of all that, like the character reactions, like that kind of feeds into even my first question about like these little moments kind of informing everything that you need to know about the characters. even when they're in a very intense situation, because that definitely ratchets up the tension
Yeah.
by like I need to cut to this person's reaction because it's going to inform this.
Yeah. That was a lot of
Mathematics.
A lot of mathematics. You know what I mean? It was like, I wrote the script based on the location. So it was like I had I'm gonna have characters here, and like figuring out like what people see, what people don't, what some of the characters don't see, and how they're reacting to certain situations. But also like I have to give credit to like our cast because they were so in tune to it. There was moments where like Jocelyn would be like, actually like I think I would be scared, or I think I would be this, and so everyone was just really, it was a passion project, man, and everybody really cared because it was just such a, my buddy sold his house to finance the movie. It was like the most independent you could get, and we all believed in it, and so like the cast, the crew, they all put in that extra bit, and they just really cared. So, some of those you mentioned, just like these little micro expressions, and that goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like if you can capture that, it's like, and you can cut that in, it goes a long way. Yeah. And Jocelyn, it's like I keep bringing up Jocelyn, but she's so good with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Just like little signaling. Yeah.
Well, I know I'm just one guy, but I can say that all that was worth it.
Dude, thank you, man. Thank you. It's like the imposter syndrome is real. So hearing like, validation from someone like yourself, like that means a lot, man. Thank you. Yeah.
I know we're just about out of time. I'll cut you loose on asking about just all these different segments of tension. How, I guess, again, bringing up mathematics. Are you looking at it on a piece of paper and just like, I need to think through, like, if the audience is watching this, what are they going to challenge each moment? Like, is that really how a character would react in that certain situation and that sort of thing? Like, how do you not go through every single motion yourself?
Yeah. I try and go through every emotion. I try to like throw out movie logic. I really wanted it to feel like anytime a situation was happening, I wanted the audience to feel like a step ahead of them, right? Like I would do this, and then the character actually does it. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It's not like a movie moment where it's like, what the are you thinking, kind of thing, But yeah, and a lot of that is just gut feeling. I don't think like when it comes to like building tension, it's not really mathematics. It's more of like, what do I feel, and just watching and studying, the masters, while they're in Hitchcock and like how they create tension. It's like you want to absorb that as much as you can, and then when it comes time to actually doing the thing, like you kind of have to forget it because sometimes like it's more of an emotional thing that you can sort of craft in the narrative of trying to build tension. Because if you're just like, the way to build tension is to show a close-up and then show the thing they're looking, like that doesn't always work, right? Like it's like, study it, absorb it, and then do your own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of my thought process behind it. If I start to think about like the sort of the mathematics of it, then you kind of come up with something cookie cut out.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I did do something cookie cut out. I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
By the way, great ending song.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I find it really funny because I just learned the other day that the guy who plays Creed in The Office is in it.
Well, yeah, I did a music video with Creed.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I did. I've done a few music videos with Mount Joy, and I worked with Creed, and I already had the Grassroots song sitting like in the script. The whole soundtrack was written into the screenplay. So when I sent the script to Creed, he was like, "Did you put that song in for me?" And I was like, "No, I did not. It was already in there." Yeah.
Just the stars aligning, like the lines of the song.
Yeah, it's funny because like when it's playing, I'm like, oh, is this too on the nose with the money blowing? I usually don't like when soundtrack is too on the nose, but I'm like, it works. Like I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Yeah,
dude, thanks so much,
man.
Thank you so much, Preston. Yeah.